Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you another PlayStation 4 review, and today's review is for the Dark Pictures Anthology Little Hope by Supermassive Games. Now, I played and I have reviewed it on the channel last year, the Dark Pictures Anthology Man of Medan, which I did enjoy. I enjoy Supermassive Games. I was a big fan of Until Dawn. I thought that was a fantastic game. And Supermassive Games make these really cinematic games that are very choice heavy and consequence heavy, but essentially it's like watching a movie that you go through. You make these decisions and you've got to try and keep as many of the people alive, the main characters alive, as possible to try and get through to the end of the game. So it's a very cinematic, story driven game, and some may even not really consider it a game of such. I mean, these games are really just like watching movies that you can participate in, really, and I quite enjoy that. I find these sort of games can be quite relaxing, fairly chilled. Now, when I say relaxing, I mean what we have here is a horror game, so the idea is to try and scare the pants off you, and this game does succeed to some degree. It's got some effective scares now and again, but it relies a little bit too heavily on cheap jump scares, games like this, because you know it wants to give you that short, sharp jump out of your seat thing, and rather than actually focusing on developing fear and tension, it goes a little bit too down the cheap route here. Now, Man of Medan that I reviewed last year, that was more of like a ghost ship story. This time, Little Hope, it's more of a traditional supernatural tale, I suppose you could say. And there is like a bus crash, and a college professor and his students are trapped in this historical town, Little Hope, on this dark, foggy night, and they've got to try and make it through the night in one piece. All the time there is these ghostly activities going on around them. The town is heavily linked to witch trials that took place in the 1600s, and they are all tied into these witch trials in some way, as we learn as we progress through the game. Right, so that's kind of the story here, and obviously I don't want to spoil the story. If you want to play this game, you will fully enjoy this story. I'm not really going to spoil anything for you here. From my experience of playing it, and it depending on your play style, you'll possibly get through this in about 6 hours, 5 hours, depending on how fast you play it and how in depth you are exploring everything on the map. And the game basically consists of lots of cutscenes, some exploration where you'll walk around an environment, look for clues. Some of them will give you hints and tips, some of them will give you clues about the town, that sort of thing. And when you are asked to participate in the events of the game, it's mainly through quick time events, really. And that's the biggest letdown of this game, and Man of Medan to some degree. It's not necessarily your decisions that condemn you, more your actions, button presses. So you could be chased by some beastly creature or some apparition, and if you don't press the right buttons at the right time, there's a strong chance you're not going to make it through that cutscene and your character will die. I would much prefer games like this, your decisions to have consequences rather than your actions, a slip of a button that will kill you. Now, that's not to say that it's a bad game, this, because I don't think it is a bad game. I think I enjoyed Man of Medan as I enjoyed this. They're two very different stories, but with the same game mechanics, if that makes sense. Now, you'll know what I mean if you've played the Supermassive games, Until Dawn, Man of Medan, and this one. They all are far too similar in the gameplay mechanics. I think they can do more. I think they need to look at games like Detroit Become Human, those sort of games, and the Hard Rain, just to involve you a little bit more in the game so you actually feel part of it more. like I say, it's very light in its approach, this game, in regards to your participation. You're watching most of the events unfold rather than altering the events that unfold, other than a slip of a button that will potentially finish off a character. It looks great. The game looks really good. It's really graphically impressive, as all the Supermassive games are. So you do feel immersed in it. If you're a fan of horror films, you're gonna like it. The story. I think it's more of a traditional horror story than Man of Medan, but I think I enjoyed Man of Medan a little bit more than this one, if I'm being perfectly honest. You can play this game solo or cooperatively with friends, which is if you want to do. I personally played it solo. There is quite a lot of replayability factor, depending on if you want to replay it and see if you can have a different outcome, see if you can keep more people alive. That's fine. So you could potentially get, about 25 hours out of the game, maybe even more, depending on how different you want to experience this. And you can have an almost different experience every time you play it, this game. You've got your usual curator, and if you've played Man of Medan, you'll know what that is. The curator is the guy that narrates you through the story, and he pops up every now and again when you have an intermission to tell you how you're doing, give you a couple of hints. And this game has also interested me for one reason. There's a girl called Holly Smith who used to go to the same kickboxing class as my son, and she's interested in acting and things, and she got the part in this game of the little girl in the witch trials. So that's a connection as well, to me and to my family, if you like, which is really cool. It was really cool to see her in the game, and she even got a credit at the beginning as well. So that was that's another reason I've been looking forward to this game. So it's one of those games, if you like, that if you like the cinematic approach to game telling, if you like Telltale type games, if you like the Detroit Become Human type games, you enjoyed Until Dawn, and you're looking to try something like this, something very cinematic, there is definitely a lot here to enjoy. But just be warned, really, most of the gameplay elements here are you walking around in the dark with a torch looking for clues, quick time events, participating in the game, and some decision making in the dialogues in how your character is going to approach the other characters and things like that. Yes, it does have some decent fun scares in it. Yes, it can be a little bit fun in regards to the tension that it builds. But for me, I just don't think it's just as good as Man of Medan, and that's because they haven't changed up the game mechanics at all, and I'd like to see something a little bit different in the next game in regards to the gameplay mechanics. So yeah, I feel a little bit more immersed next time. So I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. Definitely worth checking out in a sale. When it was full price, this game was $24.99. I picked it up in a sale, I think, for $14.99. So it'll drop even further soon in a sale. In that case, it is definitely worth picking up. So that is my review for Little Hope. I hope you liked it. Thank you very much for watching, and of course I will be back with more content on the channel very soon.